This team is cooking! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel today. My name is the Crimson Wolf, and welcome back to the Blue Review, and it is obviously a very exciting episode of the Blue Review. Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. Oh, boys, this was fun, was it not? This was really, really fun. Oh, we love it. London Derby Day against West Ham, and we go and slap them up. Oh, we love to see it, don't you, gentlemen? Whew. This team is becoming something special. It took us all of, 4 minutes to put one past them? Brilliant. They threatened basically nothing all game. There were some moments where you thought maybe they might get some, but they never were going to get anything. They were never getting anything out of this game. We rolled them over and just pummeled them. It was brilliant. We cut them open like we were playing Operation, and it was a bunch of kids on a table. Like, this was fantastic. So if you are new to Blue Review around here, basically I go through my 8 points from the previous game, Lampard's famous 8 as I like to call it, and just give them out blue, yellow and red cards for good, mid and bad performances, and go over my overall thoughts from the game. I say I give out 3 different cards. Not today. There are, for the first time in Blue Review history, no red cards. Absolutely no red cards, which is something you love to see. Not a single player for me on the pitch today was bad. None of the subs, none of the starting 11 was bad. There is, however, one yellow, and that one yellow is going to Wesley Fofana. I'm going to start off by saying it's not his fault. Wes was being played out of position, out of obligation more than anything today. He was playing at right back, which is not his favourite position. He was playing at right back with Tosin Adarabioyo, a centre back with Levi Colwill and Marco Correa. So it wasn't his preferred position. He was played there because Malo Gusto was obviously injured, as is Reece James. Axel Disasi had a largely awful performance versus Bournemouth playing at right back, so Maresca didn't opt to play him again. And when Tosin came on in that game, he looked good. So we opted to go with that back 3 kind of system with Wes, Tosin, Levi again. And Wes, it wasn't his best game, Wes. He got hooked some point into about the second half. Some point on that. He did have his knee strapped up in ice at the end of the game, and he was limping a little bit. With his injury record, I am a bit concerned by that. It shouldn't be a huge issue, and I'm assuming Maresca just took him off for precautionary reasons and the fact he wasn't having the most productive game. I will say, though, he's incredibly lucky. As much as it pains me to say it, West Ham probably should have got a penalty in this game. They probably should have got a penalty. If you did not see it, basically, Crescencio Somerville goes into the box. Wesley Fofana is holding onto him while he's going into the box. Somerville goes down. The ref sees it, pretty much had a perfect view of it, doesn't give it. The VAR had a look at it. They basically said there's not really enough evidence for or against, so in that situation they go with the referee's decision. Referee did not give it in the first place, so there's no penalty. If that had happened to us, I'd be screaming for a penalty. Like, I'm very, very surprised, thankful, but surprised that was not given. That feels like the kind of thing that would get given, especially against those referees haters. The only thing that's worked against it, and I think this is probably the reason it didn't get given, is that the way Somerville went down was kind of theatrical. So basically, Wes is holding on to him, but he does kind of throw himself to the floor in the process, and I think the referee's seen that and said, no, you're just throwing yourself over there, mate. It's very, very lucky, and arguably should be a pen. And overall, Wes wasn't having a great game. Somerville was getting the best of him quite a lot. Somerville did look quite dangerous on that side. The only reason it's a yellow, or the main reason, sorry, it's a yellow and not a red, is because he's not a right back. I don't like him as a right back. The only thing he has as a right back is that he's quick. That's the main thing he's got. But he doesn't really have the attacking instinct and doesn't really have the positional instinct of a right back. He is much better as a centre back, and his pairing with Levi is starting to become something incredible. So I would prefer him to see him as a centre back. If it's an obligation to play him at right back because Enzo doesn't trust Disasi and Reece and Gusto are not back yet, I get it. But even then, I'd still prefer to see Josh Achempong. I get not throwing players in the deep end, but we've done it before. We literally started last season in our home game versus Spurs. We started Alfred Gilchrist. I think it was his first Premier League start or something like that against Heung-min Son. Now, admittedly, Spurs were largely awful in that game, I'm not going to lie, but still, Gilchrist was phenomenal up against Son. 5'7" Crescencio Somerville versus 6'5" Josh Achempong. I don't care how quick that guy is, he's just going to get bodied. I'm sorry, but he is. So that would have been fun to see. I hope Josh starts in the next game. We're playing Barrow in the EFL Cup, so likelihood he will, because he is the most naturally left back, and young players tend to start in the EFL Cup. I'd hope to see him in the future more playing as a right back. I think he could do a really good job in the absence of Mallow and Reese. Moving into the blue cards, and boy, we have a lot of them. Now, I know I normally say there's 8 points. Technically, on the graphic, it's going to show 7, but one of them is 2 points in one, technically 3 points in one, actually. And that is the first blue card, which is for the defense as a whole, barring Wes, obviously. Tosin, Levi, and Cucurella were all phenomenal today. I've said it before, I will say it again. Levi Colwill is top 5 centre-backs in the Premier League, minimum. He is so good, unbelievably good. Like today, he was phenomenal. Defensively and offensively, his ball-playing ability was spectacular today. Like, line-breaking passes up to the forward players. He was spectacular. Tosin, again, the same. Defensively solid and progressively solid. And with his obviously added height, being 6'5", he was winning a lot of aerial duels, which with all the crosses coming into the box from Wan-Bissaka and Antonio and Bowen and Kudus and everybody else was very, very necessary and very helpful for us. I expect him to start a couple more games until we get either Gusso or Reese back, so we have a conventional right back to play, and then Wes will probably end up playing back in the right side of centre-back role again. But until then, I expect to see a little bit more of Tosin. As for Cucurella, couldn't get beaten really. Like, he was up against Mo Kudus for most of the game, did pretty well against Kudus. Whenever he went up against him, didn't get beaten. Obviously put in that absolutely scything tackle where he just took the man out. Like, you will not see a more physical tackle than that this weekend, I guarantee. Man, Kudus was just on the counter and Cucurella Chief just went sliding through him. It was fun as hell to watch. So he got a yellow card for that because it's a pretty strong tackle, but that was fun to see. But yeah, Cucurella had a really good game as well. So yeah, the defense as a whole, I think, was largely okay, apart from Wes, obviously. And on top of that, the defense, second blue card, goes to Robert Sanchez. He, once again, was really, really good. Another clean sheet for Sanchez. He was pretty good. He didn't have to bail us out as much as he did in the Bournemouth game. He did have some shots to save. Largely nothing spectacular he had to pull off. The majority of shots he was facing were right at him, so nothing major for him to do. The one thing I'm getting really impressed with is his cross-claiming for one thing, and his ability to command his box a lot more. Being 6'6", that would obviously help him quite a lot, but he was claiming crosses and just punching away rogue crosses as well, which is really good to see. But the bit I really like, he was starting so much of our attack. Like, he was claiming that ball and then playing it immediately straight out. We weren't really doing that as much, but Sanchez just gets that ball, immediately plays it out to Palmer or Madueke or Neto or Felix when they came on, and it was really good to see because we were just countering on them and we had all the space to run into, and we were doing really well on the back of that. And I think that is something that is turning Robert Sanchez into a quality #1 goalkeeper. Sanchez obviously has a tricky history, being first choice last season, not really impressing anybody really. Had a few sparse moments that were really good, and then a lot of really bad performances. Arsenal, largely it was abject, and obviously got replaced by Georgi Petrovic halfway through the season. And then he's come in. We were heard that Maresca wanted him to be #1 this season, and so far he's not really disappointed. The Man City game was bad, to be fair. That was bad. He wasn't particularly too good in that. Wolves game better, not really much he could do for either of the goals, and obviously massively helped for Cole Palmer's goal with the goal kick. Bournemouth, lifesaver, literally won us that game, I'm not even kidding. This game, also really good. Sanchez is turning himself into a proper #1. They've clearly worked on him quite heavily over the summer and in training, and he's becoming a really good goalkeeper. Also, as well, I just want to mention, for one of, I think it was Paquetá's free kick, just at Sanchez. I can literally hear him from his goal just shouting at Cole Palmer, which was really fucking funny because I can just hear him going, Cole, Cole, Cole. Just like, it's funny. It was funny, man. Like, Sanchez is funny when he's yelling at people. I don't know. He's funny. He's a bit like Pickford in that aspect. The third yellow card, I just mentioned him then. I'm going to mention him again. His name is Cole Palmer. Great goal from Palmer today. Largely quiet for the first half, I have to say. He was getting on the ball, but he was largely like heavily marked. And this is going to become a running theme throughout most of the season. And that is that Palmer is dangerous, so shut him down. And that did happen a lot in the first half. He was getting fouled quite a lot, and he was just getting double marked quite a lot. He was struggling to impact play a lot. 71 seconds into the second half, and he has a goal. He's Palmer, isn't he? So, like, he's always a bare minimum like a 6 out of 10. So, yeah, good goal from Palmer. Largely not a perfect performance from him. He was relatively quiet throughout most of the game, but whenever you get a goal, largely you end up with a blue card around here. So, moving into someone who was this close to being man of the match if it wasn't for one player, and that is Moises Caicedo. Oh boy, this is a great performance from Caicedo. He was a destroyer today, man. Absolutely phenomenal. Just everywhere. Challenges left, right and centre, winning the ball back, progressive play, getting the assist for Nicholas Jackson's second goal with a brilliant forward pass. Caicedo was everywhere today, man. He was absolutely phenomenal. That people need to start putting some respect on Moises Caicedo's name. Stop looking at the price tag. Stop just paying attention to his debut. And by the way, that was in the West Ham Stadium. Demon slayed. Stop looking at selective little elements just to make him look bad and start watching football. Start paying attention to the genius and the glory that is Moises Caicedo. He is one of the best DMs, even though he's not a DM, in the league. He's a brilliant player. You need to start paying attention to this guy, and then I will have a fight with anybody who even dares think he's a flop. Caicedo was phenomenal today. Probably deserved man of the match if it wasn't for Nicholas Jackson, as we like to call him right now, which is becoming really funny. But yeah, Jackson, 2 goals today and the assist for Cole Palmer's goal. Brilliant from Nicholas Jackson. That first goal is somewhat genius from him. Just the quick free kick from Enzo Fernandez to Jackson, who has his back turned out to Sancho, who plays them in, and he is away. That defense had no clue what just hit them, and as soon as they know it, the ball is right under Areola into the back of the net, and Chelsea lead inside of 4 minutes. The second goal is arguably even better. A ball played up from Moises Caicedo. Edson Alvarez is nowhere to be seen, as is Mavropanos, and Kilman can do absolutely nothing to him without threatening a red card or a penalty. So Nicholas Jackson has the free range of the pitch, only Areola to beat, and he side foots it right past the French international into the back of his net for 2-0. Jackson was amazing today. This might very well be Jackson's best performance in a Chelsea shirt. Now, I know a lot of people will have some different opinions on that. The majority of them will possibly be the Spurs away game when he scored the hat-trick, even though he didn't play very well. This game is the best he's ever played. Not necessarily the best performance on the outlook necessarily, because obviously the hat-trick is always going to be remembered by him and everybody. Scoring a hat-trick away at Tottenham is always fun. This was a fantastic performance from Nico Jackson. I haven't even mentioned his assist for Cole Palmer. Just on the break, gives it to Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer straight into the back of the net, off the post. Brilliant goal. Jackson was amazing today. He was absolutely stellar. I said that Jackson had one season to prove everybody wrong about signing another striker. He has taken that to heart, and he is trying his best to do it. He's now, I think, second top scorer in the league, maybe something like that, with 4 goals, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think he might be tied with Luis Diaz and John Duran right now on 4 each. So absolutely phenomenal. 4 goals in 5 games is a really good return, and I think this is his 20th goal in 50 games for Chelsea. Like, if he can continue this scoring form, he is going to be a brilliant striker for us. He might already be the best striker since Costa, and that is saying, well, actually no, okay, the bar's not very high for that, apart from Giroud. Giroud puts the bar up a decent bit, but that's it. But yeah, Jackson is slowly becoming an elite number 9. If he can continue putting in performances like this week in, week out, he could rise through the ranks of the strikers in the league very quickly and very easily. Great performance from Jackson. Final blue card of the game goes to Enzo Maresca. This guy is cooking. He is on MasterChef and he is winning right now, bro. This guy is looking like a complete genius. First manager in what, 8 years since the almighty Pep Guardiola arrived on these shores to win his first 3 away games, and he's done it spectacularly. 6-2 battering, mullering, murdering of Wolves. The 1-0 smash and grab, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat against Bournemouth, and this complete dissection of our brothers from the east side of West Ham. Enzo Maresca is proving to be an incredibly intelligent appointment. Now he just needs to continue getting performances out of this team week in, week out, and he is making good and intelligent decisions. Before, under Potter and Lampard and Pochettino, we had no idea what was going to happen. We had no idea what lineup we were going to see. We had no idea what performance we were going to see. Now we're starting to get some consistency and we're starting to see some logic. Like, everybody and their dog agreed that the players that needed to come into the side for this game, Jadon Sancho, Tosin, and Enzo Fernandez returning to the squad, everybody agreed that's what should happen, and that's what did happen. Maresca's making intelligent decisions, and his substitutions are always fantastic. Like, he made, I think, the same 4 substitutions this game, obviously, just not Tosin, obviously Disasi instead, but bringing on Neto and Nkunku and Felix and Dewsbury Hall, who all, I think, played pretty well. Dewsbury Hall wasn't really on the pitch long enough for that. Maresca is making intelligent decisions, and he is looking like we could push for top 4 this season. We're currently sat in 4th. Now, obviously, there's a lot more games left to play. I know Brighton and Nottingham Forest still play, as well as Arsenal and Man City, which is unfortunate. So we hope Man City win that game. As we always do, we hate Arsenal. By the end of this game week, we could be sat in 4th, ladies and gentlemen. We could be sat in 4th. And that is something that we love to see. We are getting back to the Chelsea that we deserve to be. We are the biggest team in London, and Arsenal need to remember that. Anytime someone chats to me about London being red, tell me how many stars they got on their badge. And I know there's not actually any stars there, but you get my point. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That is the amount of Champions Leagues we have won, and this is the amount that Arsenal have won. Zip, zero, nada. Until they win some, you cannot chat to me about how big you are. You cannot be bigger than a club that has 2 European trophies to their name. So if you think about it, they're not even bigger than Nottingham Forest. No, I'm kidding. But anywho, yeah, London is blue, always will be blue, always forever. This was a nuts game. I mean, that freaking Jackson goal just came from absolutely out of nowhere, like Randy Orton coming out of the sky to RKO Logan Paul. That was brilliant. We are getting back to the team that we want to be, the team we deserve to be, and Enzo Maresca is the conductor of it all. He is driving us there. He is at the wheel, and he is taking us places. And I hope that that place is called the UCL, boys. With that being said, I will end this episode of the Blue Review here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please leave your suggestions for who you think deserved a blue, red, or yellow card in the comments below, and tell me how well do you think Enzo Maresca is going to do as Chelsea manager. With that being said, my name is the Crimson Wolf. I am the reddest Chelsea fan on the internet, and I will see you all in the next video. Good luck with it.